If you want to see a cesspool right now, have a look at Henry Cavill's world. The latest drama surrounding him cast the actor himself and not the writing room as the core of the behind-the-scenes drama on the set of The Witcher. So first things first, Cavill's departure from The Witcher was sudden and unexpected. And remember, he was absolutely instrumental in creating the show. Shortly thereafter, his return as Superman in The Man of Steel 2 was announced, much to the glee of fans. And almost immediately after that, the cape was snatched from his shoulders when it was announced that James Gunn would be at the helm of the Snyderverse, and that just about every single character and storyline will be rebooted in the new incarnation of the DC experience. Shifts, as we know by now, have a habit of occurring in threes. The third volley of proverbial hitting the fan happened when a transcript leaked from the Do You podcast on Spotify. This leak stated that Cavill was toxic on the set of The Witcher.
Easy.
The leak went on to say that Cavill had a complete personality shift in the second season of The Witcher. It accused him of deliberate sabotage, especially of the work of female writers on set, and also of the female showrunner on the show. According to an anonymous statement, female directors and writers were completely bypassed and ignored on the set. And this made it impossible for them to do their jobs. Apparently, Cavill started rewriting scenes without informing colleagues, and he refused all shirtless and romantic scenes.
Siri, down!
The leak also tells of how Cavill created a bond with one particular male writer, and that this writer was eventually pushed out after numerous complaints to HR, and the allegations continue. Cavill, according to the leak, developed an increasing gaming obsession and almost became more misogynistic as the episodes progressed. The leak says everybody eventually agreed he had become toxic and had to leave the show. Let's be clear though, nothing about this leak and the anonymous tip that preceded it has been confirmed, and there have been no statements from the show or Cavill that either denied or confirmed the rumors. Cavill has always been a gamer, that's no secret. After all, that's how The Witcher show turned into a reality. As far as interactions with female cast and crew members are concerned, this is not the first time that the association between Cavill and his questionable approach to women has been aired. He was interviewed for Australian GQ back in 2018. He shared a rather rubbish perspective on dating in the #MeToo environment. In the interview, he made it clear that dating is difficult when rules are in place. He said it was difficult to walk up to a woman and strike up a conversation because he would be called a What crud? He added that he would call an ex instead, and that it was safer to return to a relationship that never really stood a chance of working in the first place. He added that it was better than casting himself into hellfire because he constantly lives in the public eye. And he ended off by saying he never knows what could happen if he walks over to flirt with a woman. It could be misinterpreted or worse. As we mentioned, neither the Witcher production staff nor Cavill's team has released any kind of statement to deal with these allegations. But the actor seems more than determined to simply move on with his current project. Again, something inspired by a game. It's called Warhammer. Maybe you've heard of it. So what is real and what is not? Let's try to decipher the manure vapor that swirls around the actor and his work at the moment. Firstly, Cavill's slightly nerdy charm and his looks are a fatal combination. This was obvious in his approach and portrayal of Geralt of Rivia. He loved the source material, and this got fans hooked. Now there is that leak and a Twitter text that paints this picture of Henry Cavill as a misogynist, toxic gamer, and an actor that nobody wants to work with anymore. All of the negative traits the leak mentions are attributed to Cavill's so-called gaming addiction, and the person who composed the tweet based on the podcast leak obviously has it in for gamers. The person even compared working with Cavill to working with a drug or alcohol addict. Ironic that attributing character traits like misogyny to love for gaming is sorta toxic all by itself, don't you think? Former writer Bo DeMeo claims some writers on the show seriously disliked both the Witcher games and book, and it's beginning to look like these people simply hated games and gamers across the board. Cavill will probably not respond to this, simply because the core fanbase doesn't seem to be taking the bait, but it is pretty wild to see someone publishing such unconfirmed and unsubstantiated rubbish. Cavill will still be seen as Geralt in the upcoming season though, but in season 4, Liam Hemsworth will replace him. Fans are not liking the news, and they're claiming that it was Netflix's approach to the new seasons that prompted Cavill's departure. Because the writers reportedly dislike the games and books so much, reports state that future episodes of the show will deviate substantially from the source material. And this caused the friction with Cavill, who loves games and books. Back to DeMeo and his claims. He recently came forth with all kinds of information about the show and the writers.
Can't help myself if you run. He's wrong. I don't want to hurt you.
He said the original story of The Witcher was actively mocked because members of the writing team weren't fans of the source material. DeMeo compared this experience to his work on X-Men, where he absolutely insisted all writers on the project were fans of the series. He was asked to develop a retake of the show in 2020 to revive it. The request came directly from the head of streaming at Marvel. He made his pitch and was hired. From the get-go, his golden rule was that writers had to be fans. In The Witcher, however, that rule never came into play. Writers had an active dislike for the source material, and this was an inevitable recipe for all kinds of disasters. Fandom is the litmus test, he said. It checks egos, and it makes long writing nights worthwhile. In his opinion, it makes no sense to try to add to a story's legacy if you don't have respect for the work. But DeMeo said this was never the case with The Witcher. Shortly after DeMeo's revelations, Cavill announced his departure. Fans now agree that Cavill's exit and DeMeo's comments are directly related. The actor's approach to the character of Geralt has shown his dedication to the source material, and fans firmly believe it was the Netflix approach to The Witcher that forced Cavill's decision to leave. His argument was simple. Fans say, you can't work with people if they have no respect for the character, or if they don't care for the work. Netflix has been tight-lipped about this speculation. Meanwhile, Liam Hemsworth, Cavill's replacement as Geralt, has said he is overjoyed at the opportunity that has now fallen in his lap. He says he's honored that Cavill is handing him the reins, and that he's being allowed to take up the Wolf's Blades in the next chapter of this fantastic adventure. He says he's been a Henry Cavill fan for years, and that he now has big boots to fill. And he adds that he is truly inspired to build on the character Cavill created and about stepping into the world of The Witcher. And if you're wondering, Season 3 of The Witcher will hit screens sometime in 2023. Whether Cavill left because of his own convictions or was pushed out, he will be greatly missed by the fans. It remains to be seen if The Witcher will draw the same audience numbers in Season 4 as it has with Cavill holding the reins as Geralt of Rivia. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.